Deep into the eyes, read them like a book. Trapped inside a prison, gotta free them like a crook. Make off with the loot, made off for the joke. Treated like these cowards never needed what we took, and we repeat it like a hook. Caught in the deep, come back like Weezy. The card 3, sensation. Wait, then pause the beat. Eyes don't lie, truth still hard to see. They're begging me to show them, they're saying that I owe them, but I'll never give it up. Not for you, not for no one. Foreign ride, touring, soaring, open road, exploring.
I'm here with my boy J-Maal. I'm here with my boy Jermaine. We're getting right into the offseason, kicking everything off. We got a lot coming to you guys, from NBA to NFL draft. We're going to be jumping in frequently here for the next couple of weeks, breaking everything down leading up to the draft, and we'll have a little break. And we'll also be breaking down the NBA playoffs, so stay tuned. Let's make some money and keep everything rolling. For today's episode, we're going to recap some of the NFL stuff that's going on. It's been a crazy offseason. I'm going to pass it over to Maul, and let's see what's going on in the NFL today.
All right, let's start off with the soap opera of the week. We got the issue with the Be More backing out of the trade for Maxx Crosby. Tell me what are your guys' thoughts about the fallout? What's the fallout going to be? Maxx Crosby, what is he thinking? What do you guys think?
Honestly, this one was an interesting one for me. Like, it feels like there's some stuff going on behind the scenes. I'm not trying to call out the franchise, but it does feel like they had cold feet. They're saying that homeboy didn't pass his medicals. We all knew that that's probably going to be something that you could always say, because he's clearly not fully recovered. He just had surgery, I think they said a couple months ago. He just got off crutches a week ago. So that was always going to be something that you could use in your back pocket. Granted, we don't know what they saw in these scans. Maybe something popped up on the new scans that they didn't have before. To me, it just feels a little weird that they had Trey Hendrickson in their back pocket ready to go. To me, it just feels like they got cold feet. But at the end of the day, you could do what you got. You do what you want until the ink on the pen is signed and everything is dry. So it's not like they actually did something illegal. They just agreed to terms. Once they got the medicals, they changed their mind. It looks like a good move overall for Baltimore. And after everything that the Raiders have done this week, it doesn't even seem that bad. Maybe Maxx will stick around with the Raiders and lead that defense. So it might be a win-win in the end for everybody, but I don't know. It felt weird to me.
I believe the story coming out of Baltimore late is that Baltimore was trying to sign Hendrickson in addition to keeping Crosby, and he actually genuinely failed the physical. Whatever they were expecting to see was far worse than they expected. So
you take that for it.
Yeah, Baltimore's a pretty stand-up team organization. So I'm gonna take their word. He failed the physical. Something's in there that their doctor didn't like. The Crosby's gonna play somewhere. If it's not the Raiders, somebody's gonna give him 2 second-round picks or maybe 1 first-round pick for him. So he'll continue to play. But the Ravens did end up, like you said, Ejay, signing Hendrickson. Does that make a difference to you guys with Baltimore? Is there jumping ahead? Are they going to be in your top 5 in the AFC because of that move?
I had them in my little early edition. I think I had them at 8. I'm probably going to keep them right around there. I think this is something that I expected them to do, some kind of a move like this. Crosby, I think, would have elevated them a little bit more. He's a 3-down lineman. I think he can stuff the run exceptionally well. He also can rush the passer. I think you didn't actually get to see the best of his pass rush because he was playing on a team that never had leads. If he was in a team like Baltimore that will have consistent leads, I think you'd have seen more double-digit sacks, maybe even a 20-sack season out of Crosby. I think the talent was always there. So had he gone through with that move, I think I'd have elevated the team a bit more. But with Trey Hendrickson, I think it's a solid play, but they're going to have to do a little bit more for me to bump him ahead.
It obviously adds to the team. Hendrickson's he's a 12, 15 sack guy almost every year he's been in the league. He has never featured on a stud defense, but neither is Crosby. So as great of an impact as they have, their defenses usually struggle. Baltimore still lives and dies by Lamar Jackson's health. If he plays, the defense will be better. The whole team will be better. They'll be happier. If he doesn't, what are you going to do?
Ain't got shit.
Yeah, Hendrickson, I believe, was in the past 3 seasons. I think he's only behind Miles Garrett in sacks. So I think
he's not playing with the lead either.
Yeah, I think he's underrated. I think he's gonna help the Ravens get to where they need to go, because they've had these leads and they just can't get to the quarterback to stop the bleeding on their defense. So I think that's going to help. I think he's just as good as Maxx Crosby. Maxx Crosby had a little more swagger, but I think he's better. We're going to jump into some more free agency signings here and some trades. We got Trent McDuffie, which was a big surprise trade to me, at least. The Chiefs letting go a lot of players, and he got traded to the Rams. Thoughts? Do you think the Rams become the NFC favorites on that side?
They were already my NFC favorite. I already had the Rams at number 1 before all of this, so it definitely solidifies them there. Yeah, I thought that was a great move by both teams. The Chiefs, if they're not going to re-sign him, if you're not going to pay him, get maximum compensation. They got a first-round pick. That's a great compensation for a young, talented player. And then the Rams, that's kind of their missing pieces. They got some good defensive front. They got a great offense. They got a great coach. They play in a dome. Like, everything's kind of lined up for them. They just needed an upgrade in the secondary. So I think it's a win-win. Great trade for both teams. Plus, they had to pick to spare because of your awesome Falcons trade last year. So, fantastic move for the Rams. That's a Madden play by them.
Yeah, the Rams are definitely they were already one of the favorites. McDuffie's a big pickup for them. I don't think it hurts the Chiefs either. They couldn't afford to keep him, so like you said, they maxed out on him. The Rams are going to be serious business. I think they're the number 2 favorites in the NFC early on. We're going to see what happens still.
Right.
Yeah, I think this solidifies my Rams going back to the Super Bowl. Stafford stays healthy. Puka stays healthy. They already got the defense. I think they're primed for another run. We got another one. We got concussion Tua to the Falcons. Why?
I like it.
What? Why?
I like it because he's a timing-based quarterback. Everyone seems to forget, like 2-3 years ago before he got knocked senseless, that Miami offense the timing was phenomenal. The playmaking, they were one of the funnest teams to watch. I believe they won like 12 or 13 damn games, man. Like, he's not terrible. You just got to keep him clean. And considering you've already got a left-handed quarterback, I think it's good schematically. You know what I mean? I think it's something continuity if you do have to swap quarterbacks. And I know everyone's convinced he's, one hit away from being rocked again. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But, last season he played most of the year. Not great, but he didn't get knocked out. You know what I mean? So, the Falcons got weapons. Plug them in. I think I trust him more than I trust Penix. One of them's won a national championship. It's a big deal.
What do you think, Mo?
I'm a little, I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. We've had this ever since Matt Ryan. We've had this quarterback carousel. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm assuming Tua is going to start the year because Michael's not going to be ready after ripping his knee up like for the 3rd time. So it's Tua's chance to become a full-time starter for a long time if he can connect with. He's got the weapons, right? He's got the weapons. I don't like that he's not mobile. That kind of doesn't help us schematically with Bijan Robinson, but we'll make it work. We'll see what happens. I'm optimistic.
I came around to it at first. I didn't hate it. I kind of just was neutral. I think it makes sense schematically because the left hands and everything like that. The contract, they have to eat some of Cousins' contract, so you might as well go get a quarterback that you can't that you don't have to pay anything to, and he can be a starter for you. So everything in the logistics they kind of work out. But actually on the field, it actually makes a lot of sense now that I've kind of dove more into it. I think the offense is kind of designed for a player like Tua. I think Bijan can excel with him. He does like to check down the ball. He loves to throw to the running back. You saw what Ejay was able to do with him. I think Bijan will be able to do that and more. The O-line on your squad, Atlanta is solid. So I think he's playing behind a solid O-line, which he didn't really have too great of an O-line in Miami. And then he's playing in a similar atmosphere where it's clean. He can't play outdoors. He can't play in a cold climate. He's in the AFC South. He's going to have dome games with Atlanta. He's going to have Carolina games. He's going to have Tampa games, right? And then he's going to have Saint games in another dome. So I think it's actually a great spot for him. I think you're actually going to become a Tua fan halfway through the season. And it's going to be funny to clown you about that shit.
Yeah, I might be wearing a Tua jersey on one of these podcasts, maybe at week 6. Another trade that I think caught people by surprise because I thought the Bills were probably going to go after AJ, but they traded with the Bears for DJ Moore. Is he the number one wide receiver that the Bills need to get over that top?
Ideally, I think they wanted Keon Coleman to step up and take the lead there and be that guy. He's not. Shakir's his little outlet guy, and then he loves to use his tight ends. The Bills' offense is going to be good regardless. I think DJ Moore will have a solid season, but I don't think he replaces the Steffon Diggs thing, that go-to guy in the big moment. I don't know if he's that guy.
I think he can be a number one. Now, he's not going to be like the elite number ones, but I think he'll be one of them back end number ones. He was able to put up stats with Justin Fields for a season. He's able to put up stats with like much, much lesser quarterbacks in Chicago there. So I like DJ Moore. He is getting older though, so that is one of the concerns. But he even had a pretty good season back in Carolina with Sam Darnold. So I do think he has a bit of the full package as a wide receiver one. And then with this offense, with this run game, that quarterback, I think it's a good play by them. They didn't want to wait on the Eagles. The Eagles, we're not trading Ejay Brown until at least after June 1st, just because of cap purposes. It's way too big of a hit. It drastically changes after June 1st. So I think it is what it is with that timeline. But I think they were not willing to wait and then maybe lose out on a great receiver. So they went and got somebody for not spending too much. So I think it's a good play by them. Buffalo is always in the hunt. So I think he'll have a solid season. Plus, he stays healthy. That's one thing you can't knock. Like a wide receiver that can get on the field consistently is big.
Yeah, I think this might put him over the top. Obviously, defense is going to be an issue, but he made a bunch of game-winning catches for the Bears last year, and I think that's what the Bills need. That guy in the fourth quarter, overtime, you can just throw the ball up to, and he'll come down with it. So I like this trade. I think AJ Brown's a better wide receiver, but you get what's coming to you. So I think DJ Moore was a great pickup. Now let's talk about some overpaid players. We got Daniel Jones and Alec Pierce. I think that's his name. Huge contracts for both of them. Not sure what the Colts are thinking. Not sure who's making the decisions. AJ, what are you thinking here?
I'm an Alec Pierce guy. I actually did scout him when he was coming out of college, so I do think Alec Pierce is a little bit under the radar, undervalued. I do think he is a really good deep threat, a really good high point receiver. He's not a receiver I'd pay nearly $30 million a year to in terms of where the market is and what they're paying top end wide receivers. But for the Colts and being the team that drafted him and just kind of like getting ahead of the curve, so to speak, they expect his game to elevate, so they're trying to pay him for what he's going to do. I like that a homegrown team will do that for him. So I don't totally knock that. He's still super young, too. I think he's only like 25 years old. So that one's not crazy to me. In terms of the Daniel Jones one, that's the one I'm like, I don't get that. Paying him nearly $50 million a year when it feels like you're betting against yourself or bidding against yourself. I don't think anyone else was going to jump in and offer him that type of contract. I think you could have just stuck with the transition tag and paid him. Like, I don't know the exact numbers, so I'm not going to make that one up here. But whatever that was, I think they could have stuck with that and had one more season to see if he can prove it to them coming back from this Achilles. But I wouldn't have jumped in with a 2-year deal. And that's just my opinion on that one. I think that was a little bit of an overpay.
It's a lot of money for Daniel Jones. They did start the season looking really well. I can see why the Colts think, barring injury, they might have had a run there. I think if they were honest with themselves, they realized there was a soft schedule involved, and I think we figured that out when we got to the Super Bowl. There was a few teams that were kind of just walking past crap. I'm not paying Daniel Jones $50 million a year. You could pick a guy up for free, like Geno Smith can do what Daniel Jones is going to do. There's regular ass quarterbacks out there who can do what he can do. Alex Pierce, that's what the market dictates. The guy averaged 20 yards a catch. That's a big play thing. I don't watch a lot of Colts games, but I keep red zone at the corner of my eye, and that guy's running to the end zone an awful lot. So it's hard to beat that. They moved on from Pittman. He was disappointing. I'd say he was supposed to be the number one guy there. They were happy to see him go. You got to spend your money, right? You scared money don't make money, man. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, Daniel Jones not paying. I'll make it quick. Not paying him a damn penny. Alec Pierce, 47 catches. He's for what, 20 million, whatever he was making now, 30 million. I could catch 47 passes in the NFL.
1,000 yards though.
1,000 yards, yeah. Blah blah blah. No, I'm not with it. I'm not paying him that much money either. So I'm going to move on because I don't want to poo-poo on that guy too much. Mike Evans to the 49ers. I'm going to lead on this one because I think that makes the 49ers, barring defense, Fred Warner coming back healthy, stuff like that. But I think they are the number one contenders in the NFC with the addition of Mike Evans. Obviously, he could also stay healthy too. But that offense is going to be they're already proficient. They're already score a lot. The Purdy 70% completion. I think this is going to be huge in the red zone. I'm probably going to take them to come out of the NFC for the Super Bowl, but we'll talk about that another day.
I'm going to jump in there. So we just poo-pooed, as you said, on Alex Pierce for 47 catches, 1,000 yards, whatever it was. You just said a team became a Super Bowl favorite because they picked up a guy with 30 catches and 3 touchdowns.
He was hurt.
They didn't get but it's not Mike Evans 2017, my friend. You know what I mean? They got an old guy who's going to play some games. He'll be just like the rest of the 49ers, hurt when they need him most. This moves my needle nowhere. I didn't turn the volume up. I didn't turn the volume down. It doesn't mean a damn thing to me. It's an old guy hanging on for a few more years, hoping to snag a Super Bowl. Good luck to you. You got your one when Tom Brady came through town. He should just walk off into the sunset. But go move Jamal's needle. No needle movement.
Hey, shout out Mike Evans. He got paid, so you don't walk off to the sunset when someone's offering $60 million. You got to take that contract. He's a Hall of Famer, first ballot, gold jacket. I like the move for San Francisco in terms of on paper, looks great. You needed a wide receiver one. He could provide that. He's stable in terms of the offense. He can understand the offense. Kyle Shanahan runs one of those offenses that finds you space, so you don't necessarily need to be a burner to get open in that offense. We saw Juwan Jennings cook over and over again, so I think Mike Evans could absolutely dominate. The problem with Mike Evans is I think his hamstrings are not going to hold up. I don't want to put any bad juju on him, but man, once you start suffering those type of injuries, those soft tissue injuries, and you're getting older and they're reoccurring, and then you join a team that for whatever reason, they seem to put you through an offseason program and through a rigorous program that everybody by the end of the year is getting hurt. It just seems like a recipe for disaster at the end of it. It looks like one of those things is going to be great on paper and going to have a great start to the season. You're going to have fantastic moments, but similar to what Maine's saying, I think it's going to end in him letting you down just off of some sort of injury or some sort of missing games here and there when you need him most. But yeah, I do see why the 49ers fans would be excited. I already had the Niners as my second best team in the NFC based on schedule. Them finishing where they finished last year was kind of a blessing in disguise for this year. They're going to play a third place schedule, and they're not a third place team. So I think they're still going to be one of the favorites just based on that. But Mike Evans is injury prone, man, and that team has injury problems. So not a great recipe.
All right. Well, we're going on the theme with bad juju and poo-poo. We got Aaron Rodgers. Why are the Steelers waiting for him? Are they waiting? I think they are. Why would you wait for a 43-year-old quarterback?
Not having inside information, I would imagine the Steelers must have reached out to a few of the quarterbacks that were on the market. There was a lot of rumors about Malik Willis out of there. I think that would have been a great fit. Why they're waiting for Aaron Rodgers, I don't know. I don't really never know what the hell Pittsburgh's ever doing. Like their obsession with just being average is it's admirable, I guess. You know what I mean? Like if I could wake up every day and just be okay, that'd be a fantastic way to live. You know, no highs, no lows. You're never sad, but you're never really that goddamn happy. That's the Steelers, I guess. That's what they want. Aaron Rodgers steadies the ship. They'll win 9 games. Goddamn it, they'll sneak into the playoffs, and then they'll be disappointed again.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't know. I think they're definitely locked in on Aaron because they haven't really been making a lot of noise with the QBs. Kyler's still out there. They ain't making no chases for Kyler. I know they already tried the Justin Fields and they tried the Russell Wilson, so maybe they're looking at the smaller mobile quarterbacks and thinking they want to do something different. I don't know. But Will Howard, I watched him in college. You know, he's all right. He's proficient. When he's on a solid team and everything is set up, he can probably play at a high level, but that's not what he's got over there. Doesn't have a dominant run game right now. They just let Kenneth Gainwell walk out the door. Rico Dowdle's solid. We'll see what he brings to Pittsburgh. They brought in Pittman, like we mentioned earlier. I don't think he moves the needle for them. They got 2 big receivers. They still need speed. I don't know, man. They feel like a team that's just like Maine say. They're chilling right in that mediocre spot. and they must be okay with where they're at with the quarterback situation. Yeah, they must be okay saying Aaron's coming, and we'll just wait for him to sign whenever we have the contract ready for him. It'll be another 1 year thing, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, there's two possibilities. They're waiting. They're talking to Kirk Cousins. Gonna plug him in there, or they already know or they already know what quarterback they're going to draft, and they're going to probably ride with Howard, and then let that for like half the season, and then let that rookie come in and take over the team. Those are the only things I could think of. I don't see Aaron Rodgers coming back.
This draft class is not.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of quarterbacks for them to sit and say we're going to draft one of these guys and be happy.
I agree.
That's not Pittsburgh style. They're the only time they've come in with a starting rookie quarterback is when they had an all-star team to surround Ben Roethlisberger with.
Yeah, no Mike Tomlin, so maybe it's time for them to change the philosophy, right?
They'll pivot.
Maybe let's suck this year and get more from Oregon next year, right, in the draft. So we'll see.
They can wait on Aaron because Aaron doesn't have a market either. I think if Minnesota's not knocking on Rodgers' door, no one is. So they can be patient and see how things unfold in that sense and know that he's kind of going to be their last play.
We got one to talk about that we all care about, and that's Kyler Murray.
Okay.
I'll start with that. The market is shrinking, obviously, every day with people being picked up and quarterbacks moving. It's Geno Smith to the Jets, stuff like that. Atlanta with Tua. So I don't know what is a good fit for him anymore with those teams being out of the market. I really liked him for Atlanta. I also liked him for the Jets. And then Malik going to Miami. So I'm not sure where he's going to go. So I don't have much comment on that. I don't see a place for him.
He's going to Minnesota. You know why? Because I fucking hate it. That's why. He was like 3 years ago. He was my favorite fantasy quarterback ever. The guy can catch, lightning in a bottle. His little legs get going. He's so goddamn cute out there. Other than the batted balls at the line, he's a solid quarterback. He's been dealing with some injuries, and let's be honest, he's been in Arizona. There's not a whole hell of a lot going down there, man. They just re-signed John Connor. The guy's like 71-year-old running back. They're not even looking at other options. They're happy with him. He'll play 6 games. So, I'm happy. Like, I think he's going to Minnesota. Minnesota's got one of the best teams in the league. They just got a goofy-ass quarterback right now. There's no confidence, obviously, in J.J. McCarthy, so there's not a chance in hell Minnesota's not scooping up one of these veteran quarterbacks. And right now, I think it's pretty obvious it's going to be Kyler.
Yeah, with Minnesota not really making a big splash at all this offseason and not pivoting to any quarterbacks, it's got to be Kyler Murray, and it's got to be something that they've been talking about behind the scenes. And Minnesota's got a problem on their hands. Their best player that they're paying $30 million a year to, he wasn't happy last year. He stayed hella quiet about it, but he wasn't happy. Come on now. We know Justin wasn't happy with that type of production, with that type of competition after winning 14 games, having Sam Darnold as your quarterback, watching Sam Darnold go win the Super Bowl. There's no way you're happy with how your ownership and stuff is handling your career, essentially, right? He was on a trajectory to break all the receiver records. He doesn't want you to F around with that. So I think they're in a situation where they know they have to bring someone in. There's no way they can give the keys to J.J. McCarthy again. It's got to be Kyler.
Real quick thoughts here. Who do you think had the best? We're really just day one, but everybody signed like Saturday and Sunday. Who do you think had the best offseason so far?
I think the Raiders have done phenomenal. They've picked up like 3-4 brand new starters. They picked up the best center in the league. That's huge when they got Genty back there and they're bringing in a rookie quarterback. That's like having a second quarterback on the field, helping him navigate the situations, right? The fact that they can, trade guys away and then they come back, like that's pretty cool too. So they can trade him again or something, or they can keep him. Who knows? No, I think the Raiders are making a lot of moves. And honestly, I like what Baltimore did. And then, wherever Ejay Brown lands might tilt the scale because I think he's going to go to one of these top teams too.
Yeah, I would have went with the Raiders too, but Titans do. I don't mind what the Titans did. I think bringing over Wandell is going to be a low key big pickup for Cam. I think having Dable as the offensive coordinator is going to be good for Cam. So I think they're doing good by him, and I hope they keep building around him. I'm a big Cam Ward believer, so hopefully they can come out in year 2 and build around that kid. I like the money they're spending over there, so keep going.
Yeah, I think we're pretty all on the same page here with the Raiders. They've spent gazillion dollars in free agency, and then they even got back Maxx Crosby, right? So I know they lost the draft picks, but they still have a pretty high draft pick because number 1 pick because they suck. But with all those signings, I think they got to have the best offseason so far. We're only day 1 in, but we'll see what happens. Last week here, we got 3 top players that we want to talk about and where they might land and what we want for them. We'll start with Maine. We got Tyreek Hill. I know he got released by the Dolphins. He's injured. I'm hearing maybe the Chiefs might want to bring him back. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that seems to make the most sense. He knows the system there. They know him in the building. Is he going to be as explosive as he was? It was a pretty nasty break. But normally a clean break, you can come back and reach full speed again. Just to throw out other ideas, why not try to find yourself indoors, maybe a place like Atlanta or somewhere, or even, New Orleans. I personally love to see him go to somewhere like Jacksonville, a low income tax state. You know what I mean? It'd be good for him. Get his situation straightened out. I know he's got issues out there. But pretty boring. I think he's going back to Kansas City, and we'll see.
You have any thoughts on that, Ejay?
No, I agree. I would say KC, and it just makes sense. They'll get him on the cheap. Don't trade anything for him. So basically, they'll trade him away, get some first-round picks for him, win a Super Bowl without him, then bring him back later on, and maybe win another one.
And now I got Steffon Diggs. I would have said Buffalo back to Buffalo before the trade for Moore. I'm gonna go Jacksonville. Thomas hasn't. I don't know if it was a sophomore slump or what, but something's not right with him. And I think Trevor Lawrence. I'm not a huge Trevor Lawrence fan. We should all know that. Long-haired hippie. Don't like him. I don't think he's as great as everybody says he is. But I think Steffon Diggs getting your first downs. He's not a burner, but as somebody you can trust on one-on-one coverage every play. I think Jacksonville would be a great place. Ejay Brown, possible trade. I know the rumors are swirling in Philly. I'm sure he's reading the book somewhere. What do you have on Ejay Brown, Ejay?
Arthur Jones. He's still on the trade block. I think he's handled the offseason how we want him to handle it, nice and quiet. We don't need to say anything to drive down the market. Like I said earlier in the pod, I believe the June 1st transition date was a big reason why he hasn't been traded yet. I think post June 1st, he's going to the Patriots. I think that's the one team that wants him the most. I think that's the one team that's going to need him the most. They haven't really made a big splash. They did the Romeo Dobbs thing, which I think was a good play for them. But Romeo I think he's a solid number 2. I think it's kind of the writings on the wall there. Eventually, the Patriots and the Eagles are going to come to terms on a trade involving Ejay Brown.
If Wemby's healthy in the playoffs, I think we're going to see that creative player we all made when we were like 12 years old playing, NBA Live. You know what I mean? So that 7'7" guy who could cross you up and shoot the 3, if he's healthy, I don't think you can stop him. Game after game, best of 7, the best player wins, and he's the best player.
You don't think he has to go on at least one playoff run and have that heartbreak to come back and win one?
No, man, he's a super freak. He's super freaky, man. He's going to do what he wants. I think if he's healthy, and they got a good team around him, too.
They do.
He's not a one-man band.
He
only has to play 25 to 30 minutes, and these guys are winning games.
He
can do, and he can dominate. For 20 minutes, the game could be over.
It's going to be a bad question for a pod, but who's the coach of the Spurs right now?
Greg Popovich.
I actually don't know who the coach is.
Some light-skinned curly-haired fella.
So we're saying that an unknown coach to us and a first-time playoff run by Wemby can go all the way?
Yes.
I don't know.
I didn't know that dude coaching Boston when they won.
deep into the eyes, read them like a book. Trapped inside a prison, gotta free them like a crook. Make off with the loot, made off for the joke. Treated like these cowards never needed what we took, and we repeat it like a hook. Caught in the deep, come back like Weezy. The card 3, sensation. Wait, then pause the beat. Eyes don't lie, truth still hard to see.